At Erik'S Delicafe, we're always thinking with our Johnsons. Founder Erik Johnson and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, are the culinary geniuses behind every item on the Erik'S Delicafe menu, including our delicious variety of soups. From the scrumptious minestrone to the zesty chicken gumbo, even the vegetarian vegetable. You could say there's a little Johnson in every bowl of soup we serve. Of course, every member of the Johnson family swells with pride when you talk about their sandwiches with character, but rest assured, their standards are just as rigid when it comes to their hearty and flavorful soups, each prepared fresh daily. So the next time you want a superb, dare I say, gourmet bowl of soup, just remember, the Johnsons are next to nuts when it comes to soup. Try some at any of the 24 hard-to-find Erik'S Delicafe locations. Erik'S Delicafe. Sandwiches with character. Sea Dog, Cross-Eyed Charlie, Potbelly. Friends, these are not the nicknames of burly inmates doing time in the big house. No, these are just 3 of the deliciously different sandwiches with character found on the Erik'S Delicafe menu. That's right, Erik'S Delicafe, started in 1973 by a man named, oddly enough, Erik. Featuring Erik's own sandwiches with character, delicious sandwich recipes that have never been held back by their weird-ass names. Sandwiches with character, so fresh and flavorful, they've helped Erik'S Delicafe grow to 24 locations, each one more difficult to find than the next. But don't blame that on Erik. Blame that on the people who work for Erik. So the next time you want a truly superb, dare I say gourmet sandwich with a weird-ass name, visit any of the 24 hard-to-find Erik'S Delicafes. It's well worth it. Erik'S Delicafe. Sandwiches with character. The year was 1973, and Erik Johnson of Santa Cruz was employed as a roadie for the Swedish pop group ABBA. In between mic checks, Erik would prepare lunch for the group, crafting a unique sandwich made with Swiss cheese, tender roast beef, fresh mushrooms, heated on a sweet French roll. The Swedish pop stars loved it, often saying, "Yudi foodie, Erik, sangy boy, yummy yummy." Today, that sandwich still exists on the Erik'S Delicafe menu. Yes, Erik's Abbott's Habit is one of Erik's top-selling sandwiches, and he couldn't name it Abba's Habit because the nasty little Swedes threatened to sue the holy Furder Biedenferden off of Erik. So the next time you're at any one of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafes, try the Abbott's Habit. Think of the Swedish pop group ABBA, look at the picture of Erik on our menu, and then you'll understand the inspiration for the song Dancing Queen. Erik's Delicafe. Sandwiches with character. In 1973, a bell-bottomed Erik Johnson of Santa Cruz was earning $10 a week as a guinea pig for CIA mind-altering experiments. During his breaks, Erik would sneak into the CIA labs, where he'd mix herbs, spices, and sauces in a beaker just to see if they would explode. Today, the results of your squandered tax dollars can be found in every one of the sandwiches with character in the Erik's Delicafe menu. Yes, Erik's Secret Goo sandwich dressing is an explosion of flavor. The secret reason why Erik's sandwiches are so darn tasty. And if you try and steal the Secret Goo recipe, ninja assassin sandwich makers will attack you with very sharp cheddar. So the next time you want a superb, dare I say gourmet sandwich created by a man who's had his brain fried by the CIA, visit any one of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafe locations. Erik's Delicafes. Sandwiches with character. The African Queen, a suntan special, an ankle biter. Friends, these aren't things you get for $50 on the streets of Amsterdam. No, these are just 3 of the deliciously different sandwiches with character you'll find on the Erik's Delicafe menu. That's right, Erik's Delicafe. Founded in 1973 by the former hippie, Erik Johnson. Featuring his unique and tasty sandwiches with character. Sandwiches with names that could only come from the mind of a hippie who spent the 60s watching the waves in Santa Cruz. Sandwiches so fresh and flavorful, they've helped Erik's Delicafe grow to 24 locations, each location as well hidden as the text in one of those psychedelic hippie posters. So the next time you want a truly superb, dare I say gourmet sandwich with a radical free love hippie name, visit any of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafe locations. Erik's Delicafe, sandwiches with character. In 1973, Erik Johnson of Santa Cruz ventured to Plymouth, Massachusetts for Thanksgiving. Upon his arrival, Erik learned that his Puritan in-laws considered turkey stuffing a lewd act. Thinking quickly, Erik grabbed a case of avocados from the back of his VW microbus and garnished the turkey. Well, even his Stonehenge relatives thought Erik's turkey and avocado creation was delicious. They also thought Erik was a witch and tried to set him on fire. But I digress. Today, Erik's legendary turkey breast and avocado recipe lives on as the Pilgrim's Progress sandwich, just one of the many sandwiches with character found on the Erik's Delicafe menu. Yes, Erik's Delicafe. 24 locations, each more difficult to find than the Janet Reno swimsuit calendar. So the next time you want a fresh turkey and avocado sandwich with the taste that made Plymouth rock, visit any one of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafes. Erik's Delicafe. Sandwiches with character. There's nothing worse than a boring, run-of-the-mill sandwich. That's why, since 1973, everyone at Erik's Delicafe has been dedicated to serving delicious and unique sandwiches with character. Because we know, with founder Erik Johnson, sucking is not an option. Erik himself visits all 24 Erik's Delicafes regularly, making sure that no one sucks in the kitchen. And even Erik's parents have worked diligently creating delectable homemade soups and chili recipes, and those two don't know the meaning of the word suck. Yes, in over a quarter century, perhaps the only sucky thing about Erik's Delicafe has been our off-the-beaten-path locations. And we're working to unsuck that. So when you want a truly superb, dare I say gourmet sandwich that is 100% suckless, visit any of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafe locations. Erik's Delicafe, sandwiches with character. Barnbuster, Marrakesh Express, REO Speedwagon. These aren't the names of 70s rock acts reuniting for the Let's Find a Cure for Liver Spots concert. No, these are just 3 of the deliciously different sandwiches with character found on the Erik's Delicafe menu. Yes, Erik's Delicafe. Founded in 1973 by Eric Clapton. Erik Johnson, featuring Erik's sandwiches with character. Sandwiches that have overcome the stigma of a funky name to become famous in their own right. Sandwiches so fresh and flavorful, they've helped Erik's Delicafe grow to 24 locations. Each location so far off the beaten path, you'll think we hid them on purpose just to mess with your mind. So the next time you want a truly superb, dare I say gourmet sandwich with a strange name, visit any of the 24 hard-to-find Erik's Delicafe locations. Erik's Delicafe. Sandwiches with character. In 1973, Erik Johnson of Santa Cruz was visiting a small town in Texas when local law enforcement officials arrested him for having long hair and wearing puka shells to a rodeo. During his long incarceration, Erik perfected the recipe to a chili so flavorful that the guards promised to let Erik escape if they could just have one taste. Erik complied, and the chili behind the adventure can be found today on every Erik's Delicafe menu. Yes, Erik's Texas Jailhouse Chili is real as any one of Erik's delicious sandwiches with character. But the story I just told you is total bullshit. But it does make Erik seem more macho than telling you his mommy came up with the recipe, now doesn't it? So the next time you want a hearty bowl of chili based on a story filled with beans, visit any of the 24 uncharted Erik's Delicafe locations. Erik's Delicafe, sandwiches with character. At Erik's Delicafe, we've received letters from people who have actually found some of our 24 hard-to-find locations. Mr. Ken Jones writes, "I found your Erik's Delicafe in Redwood City. I loved my Abbott's Habit sandwich, and I particularly liked the cowboy chaps and salami decorating the walls." Ms. Kate Stern of San Ramon writes, Erik's is off the beaten path, but your sandwiches are hard to beat. P.S. Erik's Delicafes are harder to find than Amish race car drivers. Thanks, Kate. Mr. Tom Burke of Watsonville writes, I was kidnapped 2 weeks ago, and my abductors left me bound and gagged in front of an Erik's, thinking no one would ever find me there. Boy, were they wrong! Yes, people are discovering that Erik's 24 out-of-the-way deli cafes offer truly out-of-this-world sandwiches. Visit one today. You'll never forget where you left it. Erik's Deli Cafes. Sandwiches with character.